Mainstream media is outraged by the recent political revelations of rapper Kanye West, but are they telling the full story?
Tonight, some critics saying the talent behind songs like All of the Lights may just be using his latest rant as a boost for album sales.
A highly edited version of an interview the artist did with TMZ dropped on Monday, sparking a feverish attempt by mainstream media outlets to control the narrative of Kanye's remarks.
When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. Like, you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all? You know, like, it's like we're mentally in prison.
West facing immediate backlash from TMZ staffers.
What you're doing right now is actually the absence of thought.
I'm appalled, and brother, I am unbelievably hurt by the fact that you have morphed into something, to me, that's not real.
By broadcasting the overtly edited version of Kanye's explosive interview and cherry-picking the most controversial lines from an otherwise nuanced back-and-forth discussion, left-wing media was able to paint a picture of a self-hating black man, an unhinged slavery denier who has been brainwashed into a white supremacist narrative.
Bro, I'm sorry I hurt you.
You gotta be responsible.
I'm sorry.
He was so off base on what he said.
Mainstream media has not aired a single moment of the extended version of the interview, which was released a day later, because they are threatened by the coherent messages Kanye had for the black community and for Americans in general on issues like the opioid crisis.
2 days later, I'm in the hospital. I was taking 2 pills a day at that time. When I left the hospital, how many pills you think I was given? 7. I went from taking 2 pills to taking 7.
Or the deception of media.
We are drugged out. We are following other people's opinions. We are controlled by the media. And today it all changes.
Now, 17 months after his November 2016 hospitalization, West disclosing to Charlemagne details of the struggles that led him to seek medical help.
That was the scariest moment of my life.
The hip-hop multi-talent said his 9-day stay at a UCLA medical center, not a breakdown, but a breakthrough, brought on in part by stress from the at-gunpoint robbery of his wife, Kim Kardashian West, in Paris just 1 month earlier.
I'm sorry, there's a family emergency, I have to stop the show.
Went to Paris on that trip to protect her. One of the things that she said that she heard is that they were coming to rob her and they had to wait till I had left.
And in his TMZ interview, revealing this.
I got liposuction because I didn't want y'all to call me fat like y'all called Rob at the wedding. I was addicted to opioids. 2 days I got off of opioids, I'm in the hospital.
And they certainly won't show the moment when Kanye called out the false narrative surrounding racial violence in the U.S.
When I say we have no enemies, we don't have enemies. Black people have a tendency to focus and march when a white person kills a black person or wears a hat. But when it's 700 kids being killed in Chicago, it's okay. It's okay for blacks to kill blacks.
Radio host Charlemagne the God spoke to West in a much-anticipated interview released online yesterday.
It's just the next frontier for me.
Nearly 2 hours long, the interview hit on topics like mental health and West's apparent reverence for Donald Trump.
Got a guy like him who's clearly trying to marginalize and oppress people that look like you.
When he was running, it's like I felt something. It's like the fact that he won, it's like it proved something. It proved that anything is possible in America. That Donald Trump could be president of America. I'm not talking about, what he's done since he's been in office, but the fact that he was able to do it.
Kanye's definitely back in the spotlight by his own doing, and this TMZ interview is grabbing everyone's attention.
Do you feel that I'm feeling, do you feel that I'm being free and I'm thinking free?
Kanye saying he's about freedom, not conforming.
I just love Trump. I don't have all the answers that a celebrity's supposed to have, but I could tell you, when he was running, it's like I felt something.
The interview was filmed the week before Kanye tweeted this picture of himself,
even tweeting this photo of his own signed Make America Great Again hat.
The African Americans are predominantly Democrat, and anytime somebody breaks from that orthodoxy, they tend to become a target.
We have the right to independent thought, and I independently think that Kanye has lost his mind.
I think it's weird. I think it's disappointing to me.
And getting near unanimous outrage on social media. One person tweeting, to say slavery was a choice isn't only deluded, it's insensitive, it's hateful, and it's demeaning.
It isn't noteworthy for a gossip channel like TMZ to cut a clickbait clip and take inflammatory quotes out of context. But the fact that allegedly reputable journalists from our nation's monolithic liberal news organizations are parroting these tabloid headlines is a stark message about the desperate state the mainstream media is in today. The reason you haven't heard the truth in Kanye's interview is because politics are downwind of culture, and if those shaping the culture open their eyes to the decisiveness of left-wing journalism pushed on television and the internet today, working-class citizens will realize they are being deceived. The unfiltered version of Kanye's thoughts may have received a mere fraction of the views of the politically charged edited version, but the fact that a cultural icon with his level of influence is waking up to the realities of a society that has been systematically deceived, drugged, and divided signifies a tremendous step forward in our cultural evolution.
Kanye's Trump tweets come after a series of bizarre online rants, including the rapper claiming his fashion line will become the biggest apparel company in human history, and saying he has parted ways with his manager and a lawyer. His wife, Kim Kardashian, coming to his defense amid claims he's having a breakdown, tweeting, "Your commentary on Kanye being erratic and his tweets being disturbing is actually scary. So quick to label him as having mental health issues for just being himself."
And this all started with one 7-word tweet last Saturday. "I love the way Candace Owens thinks." I could be a little biased. I love the way Candace Owens thinks as well. But this is really bizarre. And I knew that it was going to be Kanye West to sort of break through this matrix and this group thought on the left, because the one thing that he advocates the most for in his music is independence. And that, to be quite frank, that is now a position on the right. To be a conservative means that you allow independent thinking. They do not allow that on the left whatsoever. So it's curious to see. This is the beginning of what is going to be a very interesting time in Black America. Candace predicted this would happen over a year ago.
I first said, if you understand Kanye West, then you can understand the movement of Donald Trump. Like, it's funny to me that people can't correlate that. It's very similar. It's just anti-political correctness.
Literally taking over the TMZ newsroom, telling them he started popping painkillers after having liposuction that ended in his 2016 breakdown that landed him in the hospital for more than a week.
I had plastic surgery because I was trying to look good for y'all. I got liposuction because I didn't want y'all to call me fat.
Rescue 41, psychiatric emergency, Morrill Avenue.
Now fans wonder if the emergency caused his abrupt decision to cancel the remaining 21 appearances of his St. Pablo tour. Just 48 hours earlier, the entertainer arrived at his Sacramento concert over an hour late and sang only 2 songs before this happened.
Stop it.
West ranting for over 15 minutes on everything from the election to even Beyonce and Jay-Z.
Jay-Z, call me, bro. You still ain't called me.
He performed 2 songs and then went on a tirade.
Y'all don't want to lose again. A lot of people here tonight felt like they lost. You know why? Because y'all been lied to.
The artist went on to slam Jay-Z and Beyonce specifically, whom West claims used dirty tricks to win MTV's Video of the Year award.
What was going on before he was hospitalized? West is now getting a psychiatric evaluation in Los Angeles.
It was uncharacteristic of him, but that aside, to cancel a month and a half's worth of tours when a lot of money is on the line, something is pretty wrong here.
Kanye West is one of the most well-known entertainers from Chicago.
But all of Kanye's tweets apparently led some to question his mental health, and that set Kim off. She said the media is trying to demonize Kanye. She called her husband a free thinker and said he was ahead of his time.
Also saying, I believe in people being able to have their own opinions, even if really different from mine. He's a free thinker. Is that not allowed in America?
People will call you a hypocrite if you say, well, when celebrities talk politics, you tell them to shut up because what do they know? You're an actor, just act. But this is different because this comes with a cost. It comes with a cost to his reputation, to his fan base, and to album sales. When people say he's doing this to promote album sales, they don't know his fan base because this is going to hurt him. So he didn't choose the typical cuddly issue that would get him love and props.
I want to put up a tweet that you wrote. You said the masters control everything, including who blacks and even are even allowed to like. Kanye tweeted 7 words, and they jumped up and told blacks that they must immediately revolt. How many of you jumped up and did that? How many of you have your minds enslaved?
It's just the truth. It's what I've been preaching about long before Kanye wrote this 7-word tweet that broke the internet, is that they enslaved our bodies, the Democratic Party, but today they have enslaved our minds. They have told us who we must love, who we must hate, what we must think, what ideas are unacceptable. And in the long run, it just doesn't add up. Listen, I think differently. Kanye West thinks differently. I can guarantee you if he and I get in the same room, we will have a lot of disagreements. But the one thing that we will celebrate is our right to think differently. I don't understand what's so controversial for the left to understand this. The way that they have demonized him in the last 72 hours is almost sickening, but at the end of the day, it's going to have adverse effects. I can guarantee you that.
Why are the opinions of rapper Kanye West getting more broadcast coverage than the end of the Korean War? There has been a unilateral media witch hunt against Kanye since he came out in support of President Trump last week by simply wearing a Make America Great Again hat.
2 weeks ago, he tweeted this, quote, "You don't have to agree with Trump, but the mob can't make me not love him. I don't agree with everything anyone does. That's what makes us individuals, and we have the right to independent thought." Exactly.
We are chained to an ideology that just isn't working over the last 50, 60 years. Liberalism, the swallowing of it whole. Our families have been destroyed. Our children lost and confused. Our black men incarcerated and emasculated, and we've moved away from the traditional values that have always defined us. I think we've made a mistake.
It's like we're mentally in prison. Do you feel that I'm feeling? Do you feel that I'm being free and I'm thinking free?
I actually don't think you're thinking anything.
TMZ writer Van Lathan went on with his criticism of West, saying his platform shields him from the real-life consequences of his words.
But you know, with great risk comes great reward. I'm sure that it is a lot of people who might have turned their back on Kanye in that moment, but it's a lot of other people who agreed with him. And that's the way the world works. I believe in the rule of 10. 3 people gonna like it, 3 people not gonna like it, and 4 people just gonna be on the fence about it. I think sometimes we worry about everybody who's not liking it as opposed to the people who actually felt the same way you felt.
Overnight, West's comments going viral. The backlash online, quick and unapologetic. One Twitter user saying, to say slavery was a choice isn't only deluded, it's insensitive, it's hateful, and it's demeaning. The artist later clarifying on Twitter, writing, of course I know that slaves did not get shackled and put on a boat by free will. My point is, for us to have stayed in that position, even though the numbers were on our side, means that we were mentally enslaved. He would later delete the tweets.
And that his statement was just an example of the free thought you heard him mention in the TMZ clip. West rounded out the tweet storm, saying that once again he's being attacked for presenting new ideas.
You talked to Kanye after the statement?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
What was that conversation like?
You know, Kanye had told me the context of what he was trying to say, so I understood it a little better. I think when he said slavery was a choice, in his mind he was talking about psychological slavery. You know, in his mind, he's saying, even if I am a slave, I have a choice to remain a slave. I can revolt. I can't give you points for what you were trying to say.
Right.
I got to judge you based off what you said. What he said was slavery was a choice.
Where's Kanye's headset at right now? Is he healthy?
I really don't know. I mean, you know, in the interview we talked about mental health a lot. He spoke about being on meds, you know, so I'm on TMZ saying he was addicted to opioids. He even talked about liposuction. You know, he talked about losing all his confidence. Like, I mean, that sounds like, you know, low self-esteem.
West's reps declined our request for further comment. Tonight, some critics saying the talent behind songs like All of the Lights may just be using his latest rant as a boost for album sales. Regardless, some fans disheartened by how the icon has chosen to use his platform.
So if Kanye West, who's like not just one of those popular black Americans, but one of those popular Americans just across the board, if he doesn't stand a chance of just raising this question, because it's a totally valid question, then how, you know, who does?
Well, actually, he does stand a chance, because when someone like Kanye speaks out, he creates space for others to speak out.
People are seeking another place to find the truth because they're tired of the narrative. And I think this is part of that.
I think what Kanye is trying to do is open Black America's mind to the fact that perhaps we've chosen a bad strategy by swallowing all of the Democratic Party and liberalism whole. I say in my column in the Wall Street Journal that in the immediate aftermath of the civil rights movement in the 1960s, Democrats marketed to us liberalism as the solution to all of our problems. And liberalism now is like the cigarette. It's been marketed to us the same as the cigarette. Fashionable, sophisticated, it's supposed to be liberating. But I think it needs a Surgeon General's warning, hazardous to your family and all the values you were taught as a child.
Do you feel that do you feel that I'm being free and I'm thinking free?
Kanye says he is on medication for his mental health, but not taking the amount his doctor wants him to.
need to tamp down any independent thought immediately, or else it could get out of control.
And it's being tamped down as viciously as anything I've ever seen. When they call in the great writer Ta-Nehisi Coates, basically, I call him the overseer of black thought. He's there to keep everyone in line with the groupthink that the only solution is liberalism for black America's problems. If that were the case, our problems would be being solved much faster, because 95% of us are afraid to even admit that we have conservative values, and we've moved away from our church upbringing. We've been the most religious people in America for years, hundreds of years, and we're moving more secular. We're moving away from the church. Our religion now is liberalism, and the Democratic Party is our church, and it's just not working for us.
These powerful media monopolies realize they are losing their grip on one of the most influential cultural icons of our generation, and it is causing them to panic.
We are drugged out. We are following other people's opinions. We are controlled by the media. And today it all changes.